All right, hello again, everybody. Welcome back to the career section of my channel here. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you tuning in. If this is your first time, welcome. If you are returning, thank you so much for coming back. If you watched one of the previous videos I had posted, I made a video about the 5 worst things that I could think to tell you about this career as an airline pilot. And I, of course, didn't make this video in the spirit of trying to deter anybody or set a negative tone about this job. If you watched my channel for any period of time, you would know how passionate I am about aviation, and I really do get a lot of satisfaction out of motivating and inspiring other people to chase their dreams and just try to come down this career track. So I am really convinced that this is one of the best jobs in the world, and of course I love doing it, and I love just inspiring other people, or hopefully motivating them and driving them forward to pursue this as a career. I just think it's one of the funnest things you could be doing in the world. So I wanted to come back with a follow-up to that video, of course, that kind of set the stage for what I wanted to talk to you today about, and that is the 5 best things that I can think to tell you about this career as an airline pilot, and I want to share those with you today. So starting with number 5, the number 5 thing that I can think of was the fact that you get to meet new people daily. This environment that we work in as airline professionals is just so incredibly dynamic in the sense that every single day we're meeting new people, from different crew members to various folks that we work with, to passengers, to just all sorts of folks in between, and everywhere we go. It is such a cool thing if you are the type of person that likes meeting new folks, and you like to get to know people from different backgrounds and different walks of life, and you enjoy that type of thing, you like interacting with people. This is definitely the place for you. I mean, you do a whole lot of that. It's, certainly it can be an awesome thing in the sense that, you have a high volume of folks that you come in contact with. But of course, if the flip side of that is if there is somebody that you don't necessarily enjoy working with so much, you in a day or 2 or 3, the trip is over and you're just kind of on to the next one, and it's a new set of faces the next time you come out to the airport. So that, of course, is a big contrast to, somebody that has, let's say, an office job where you work with the same 5 or 10 faces for years at a time. You may or may not like these people, and it's just not a whole lot of outside exposure to new things, I feel like, and it certainly lacks the dynamic. And I really think what makes this a fun job, or the fun work environment that is created as a result of that. So like I said, number 5, the fact that you get to meet new people daily. Number 4 is the fact that you don't take work home with you. And for anybody that's had any sort of job that, you've got responsibilities and you've got things that are tied specifically to you and the job that, you as an individual have done, you have this situation where, let's say, and I was in this situation before earlier in my life. I had a desk job. It was kind of a necessary evil, let's say, to kind of finance my flight training and get me onto the places that I wanted to be. But I mean, I certainly remember those days where I would leave work and those problems and those stresses on a Friday, and I knew when I came back on Monday that they would just be there waiting for me again. And I didn't like that. I am the type of person that when I leave work, I want to leave it there. I don't want to think about it on my off days, and that is very much the case with flying. I mean, you go in, you fly your trip, and you're done. When you leave the airport, for the most part, nobody's calling you, nobody's contacting you. You're not kind of resuming and picking up where you left off, because when you leave the airplane, somebody else is kind of jumping in, taking the reins, and taking control of the situation if something has happened in the course of time while you were going through your work day. It just doesn't necessarily follow you, like I said, home with you, and those stresses get to stay at work, which I think is just awesome. And this is definitely the type of job that you can very much so fly under the radar. And I know it sounds crazy, but for most of us, a lot of times, like, you never even met your boss. You've never even sometimes seen your chief pilot. I mean, you certainly know who this person is, and they might see your name on a roster somewhere. But if you're a guy that you just come in and you do your work, you don't cause waves, and provided nothing goes wrong, of course, you're never going to hear from your boss, which is just a phenomenal characteristic of this line of work that I think makes it truly awesome. Number 3 is the lifestyle and schedule flexibility. Now, this is definitely one of those jobs where you can kind of choose to be as busy as you want to be, or as not busy as you don't want to be. You can certainly live wherever you want to live. We kind of talked last time a little bit about this commuting business, but it's an option there for you if you want to live in one geographic location and have your domicile be somewhere else. I mean, you really have the freedom and flexibility to do that. Interestingly enough, I mean, I've worked with several people over the course of my time as an airline pilot. You know, there's folks that live in other cities from domicile, other towns, other states, and even in some cases other countries, as crazy as it sounds. But you have the ability to do that, and I don't really know what other job offers that in the same way that this does. And just to touch on the schedule flexibility, I mean, the fact that, we bid on our schedules every month, so you have some choices where, hey, one month I want to work these days, and next month I want to switch up the cadence, and now I want to work the weekends, or vice versa. You certainly have the flexibility to do that. And once you kind of figure out the system, most all airlines have the ability where you can kind of trade and drop trips, and you can use vacation time and sick time and all sorts of other stuff to arrange your life, exactly how you want it. I mean, it is just, like I said, after you've done this job for a while, the thought of going back to like a rigid, like 9 to 5 Monday through Friday schedule is really a hard one to kind of take on. And I guarantee you, anybody that's done this job long enough will tell you the same thing. Is just that it is unmatched. Like I said, when you get a little bit of seniority, of course, and you've climbed the ladder a little bit, just the level of flexibility that we're afforded as pilots here is phenomenal. The number 2 reason I could think of is the travel benefits. Now, right off the bat, I mean, you flying around, going to places you're going to, I mean, you're basically being paid, of course, to operate the aircraft, but you're also being paid to like go and be in a different city and explore their food scene, explore their culture, and see the sights and meet people there and all this kind of stuff. So, just the work itself is travel, and in the form of a benefit as I see it. But of course, above and beyond that, a lot of companies will give you, what's called like non-revenue benefits, where you and your family and your friends, can basically have these passes where you can jump on, a space available type of situation, but, jump on a flight to go wherever there's an open seat, going for a very, very minimal cost, and in a lot of cases completely free, which, once again, I don't know what other jobs kind of give you this like ticket to the world and just say, hey, go have at it, on your off days kind of thing. It's pretty unique. And certainly for us as pilots too, there is a heightened benefit that comes along in the sense that we can actually jump seat. So above and beyond the non-rev benefits that we have, I mean, you can just have a whole lot of access to a whole lot of different airlines that you wouldn't otherwise have as an airline employee in a different capacity. And it really is like the golden ticket to see the world. And there's some folks that capitalize on this a lot. They can tell you stories about the places they've been and, the things they've seen. And, other folks don't seem to, capitalize on it as much. But if you are the type of person that loves to travel, I mean, it is certainly a huge perk. And I could go down the list, and I don't want to bore you with the stuff here that I've been able to do. But, I think like one of the my crowning achievements for the type of travel that I had been able to do was at one point, I remember I had taken a trip to Singapore for like 4 days. And I think I went round trip for like $26 or something like that, which is just, it's insane. So if you love to travel, you will love this job, of course. And the number 1 reason that I could think of about why this job is just awesome and amazing, and it probably kind of sounds cheesy, but it is, at the end of the day, flying the jet is one of the most rewarding and fun and exciting parts about this job. And, anybody that's entered this career field has done so out of a love for aviation, just flying itself. And, that really is something that I'm convinced never leaves us as professionals. And I really do believe there's kind of this little child inside all of us guys and girls that come out and do this job that, it doesn't matter how old you are or how long you've been in the industry. Some people hide it more than others, but I guarantee you behind that 30-year-old, been around the block, salty dog, crusty captain, there's still like this giddy little kid in there that every time you get to fly the jet, I mean, it's just, there's a tremendous amount of enjoyment factor that comes along with that. And it is really a lot of fun. And like I said, some people will openly admit it to you, and others, they won't admit it, but I guarantee you they're hiding something. And it just is, truly one of the most amazing feelings in the world to really master flying one of these aircraft, getting it to do, perform the way you want it to perform, and, getting really comfortable in it to the point where it really becomes a joy. And it's kind of like, the same way that somebody gets a rise out of driving their sports car around on the weekend. I mean, I really think a lot of us do kind of get that same rise out of flying a jet aircraft. And it is just, once again, something that not a whole lot of people on the face of this earth get to do. It's a tremendous privilege, and it is just fun. It is fun flying the jet, plain and simple. So hope that gives you guys something to work off of. I hope you enjoyed the video today. If you've got career questions, this is another section of the channel here that I'd really like to build out. So feel free to leave them down in the comments section. If you like what you heard today, like the video, subscribe. It kind of helps to propel me forward and kind of expand this channel here. And really, like I said, a large part of my drive is just, kind of serving as a motivating force to hopefully, get people that, if you're thinking about going down this career track, just to kind of push you over that edge and really motivate you to get out there and do it. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk again real soon. Thank you.